people and places are real. So are their stories. What's it like to be alive while most of the world is asleep? The answer can be found out on the streets, behind closed doors, and in places you never imagined existed. He's an 11-year-old hit-and-run victim brought into one of the busiest trauma centers in the country.
Let's give him a milligram of morphine.
And doctors work through the night to save him.
It's adding up. He's got enough injuries now that it's really starting to add up.
He's the real Miami Vice, a cop who scours the streets for crime and criminals. But this cop is as likely to help you as arrest you.
You have a nice attitude. You've always had a good attitude.
He's a human canvas, a man named Big Ben who marks time by marking bodies, South Beach style.
If you're a tattoo artist, pretty much you eat, sleep, breathe. Everything you do is tattoo.
Full Moon over Miami and Friday the 13th. A double whammy in a city known for the strange and bizarre. Hospital emergency rooms are as packed as the South Beach clubs. Ask anyone who lives in the Magic City, and they'll tell you, some things happen only in Miami. Meet Big Ben Newmark, a tattoo artist who works at Tattoos by Lou, the oldest tattoo shop in town.
Well, I'm a nocturnal person. I've worked basically nighttime since I'm about 18 years old. All right, Maria?
When you work after dark as long as Big Ben has, you're rarely surprised.
And you're here in South Beach, everything's wild. We've had all kinds of crazy things happening late at night because it's a nighttime business. Like somebody got stabbed in the bar across the street and like ran in here like with blood all over, and that was kind of crazy. It's nighttime, crazy things are happening.
Meet Sergeant Joe Shalacy, City of Miami Police. 18 years on the force. Officer of the Year twice. A one-man anti-crime crusade on the streets of Miami.
Put your hands behind your back.
He loves these streets and its people.
Oh, Miami is a melting pot. Now, Miami is the American dream.
The criminals live the American dream here, too. Sergeant Shalacy says they come to Miami for the same reasons everybody else does.
The climate is absolutely outstanding. They would rather go to the warmer climates to make their money.
He's seen it all in these streets, starting with the cocaine cowboy shootouts of the 80s.
Violent, extremely violent. It wouldn't be unusual for a carload of 4 or 5 people to drive up on a sidewalk, get out and machine gun some guy right there in the middle of the sidewalk, get back in the car and drive off, business as usual.
When the streets turn violent, many of its victims come here to the Ryder Trauma Center, one of the busiest in the nation. On the roof, the skies are filled with one air rescue after another. Downstairs, the trauma team moves into a finely choreographed ballet of preparation, something it does more than 4,300 times a year. The first case tonight, a man suspected of murdering his children, then trying to take his own life. Not far behind, an 11-year-old boy, the victim of a hit and run. His name is Oscar Solimanca.
How you doing, Oscar? What did he get for his pain? Let's give him a milligram of morphine. Let's give him a milligram of morphine. You know, his injuries are adding up.
Oscar's injuries are severe.
He's got enough injuries now that it's really starting to add up.
Oscar has a fractured skull and jaw, a broken leg and elbow, and multiple lacerations. All of his front teeth are knocked out by the impact of the accident. Dr. Mark McKinney is the attending physician in charge.
Oscar, you've been a brave kid. Stick with us, though.
Oscar is able to remain conscious despite his severe pain.
Where do you live, Oscar? Do you live with your mommy or your daddy? I know this is a lot for you. You're doing great, though.
Oscar's parents are still en route to the hospital.
Hey, Oscar? We're going to put you to sleep now in a few minutes.
There will be little sleep, if any, for Dr. McKinney tonight, as his brave young patient is prepared for emergency surgery.
Can you move your left finger? 1, my finger.
Open your eyes, Oscar. You feel better? Yes or no? All right.
Does that feel better? Yeah? Okay, cool.
What do you think? Yes?
You said yes.
He's pretty sick. He's lost a lot of blood. He's got a number of different injuries. I'm still optimistic. It's going to be some time before we can tell for sure.
But there are other patients. There is the man who cops say beat his kids to death before he tried to kill himself.
Obviously, it sounds like it's a horrible thing. He gets treated the same no matter what, though. This may or may not be correct. We're not the judge or the jury. We're the guys that are taking care of him.
He is also in critical condition.
He had a number of injuries that needed to take care of. The police are there watching him, and if he did this horrible crime, then he's got a judge and a jury that's waiting for him.
An alleged killer will get the same care as an innocent child. Sometimes doctors never know for sure who they're dealing with. Sometimes the bad guys turn out to be the good guys.
And we've even had a few situations where the information from the scene was not correct, and just like how you'd feel if you took care of him differently, and it turns out he was an innocent guy. So either way, even if we know for sure he's guilty, it doesn't matter. He gets treated the same way, try to get him better, and whatever the right thing to do for with the police and the judge and the jury, they can take care of that.
As the night moves on, young Oscar fights for his life during emergency surgery.
It's a pretty sad case when you see a kid, suffer these kind of debilitating injuries.
Plus, undercover and on patrol against prostitution, we go one-on-one with the women of the night.
Hey, baby doll. Oh, hey, how much is it going to cost?
And Think Ink, the colors of South Beach, tattoo style.
Tattooing is in my blood.
All after midnight.
This program is brought to you in part by Bank of America. Make banking work as never before. Why not? Bank of America. Grow.
What will I be like a year from now? How much will I grow? How strong will I be in 5 years? In 10 years? Where does my future start? You'd be surprised.
This is the Discovery Channel, on now a premiere episode of After Midnight. Let's get set.
Wouldn't it be amazing to fly to LA and sort of live like a movie star for a few days? You could go to Priceline.com for a steal on airline tickets and then parlay the money you save into a cashmere-crazed shopping spree, a deep tissue massage, or dinner at a fancy restaurant. And then, if somehow you wound up on a late-night talk show and the host said, "You look fantastic, what's your secret?" You'd say, "Oh, discount designer airfare."
Every Friday, beginning at 10 Eastern and Pacific, dig into the lives of those who call this home. From selling the dream to dreaming big. Every Friday, a new cast of characters, one story at a time. Then, Miami nightlife heats up, and anything can happen. Every Friday, new people let you into their lives after midnight. Casino Diaries and After Midnight. Every Friday, beginning at 10 Eastern and Pacific on the Discovery Channel.
A prostitution sting for Miami PD Sergeant Joe Shalacy tonight. He is the undercover John, soliciting sex from suspected prostitutes. He even studied acting to help him hone his skills for the street.
You have to use your imagination. You have to be quick on your feet. You have to be alert. This job can really be a challenge. And that's what makes it so much fun. Hey, come on now. What are you charging? I'm being straight with you. You said she's 20, Fred. I'm just curious how much you normally charge.
Approximately the same thing.
After years on the streets, he knows these prostitutes well.
Now, one on the right is the guy.
Even though they know he's a cop, sometimes the hookers still take the bait.
Hey, baby doll. Hey, how much is it going to cost? Get in. Hey, listen,
The sergeant is able to talk her into going to his car and to a nearby motel where the takedown team is in waiting.
35 for the room?
Back at the trauma center, hit-and-run victim Oscar undergoes tests. His injuries are severe, among them a fractured skull and a broken leg.
We're going to get him intubated, and he's got a big hematoma right here. It's not expanding, but it's pretty impressive. Also lost a number of teeth.
Dr. McKenney begins to see encouraging signs.
He wasn't in a coma when he came in, so that was encouraging. Most of the bleeding has been stopped.
I don't think that you got the whole bone in here. Something's missing.
Give me the muscle relaxer, please. He actually has a lot of blood back there, you know. It looks like it was accumulating.
The staff is moved by the young boy's courage. Trauma nurse Bud Buzzard.
Wonderful patient to take care of. I mean, he came in fully awake and actually talking to us and explaining to us what had happened.
Another sign of encouragement, police locate his parents and bring them to the hospital. He had gone to the store on an errand for them when he was run down. The parents speak no English, but understand the seriousness of the situation.
Well, the father got a little emotional, you know, after he was realizing all the injuries that he had.
The family must wait for hours for word on Oscar's condition as the medical staff awaits test results.
The tests are the most important thing so we can get a diagnosis, and family members end up waiting sometimes hours. Unfortunately, I have children of my own, and I could not imagine being that person being told you have to wait.
Test results reveal Oscar has swelling in his brain. He is wheeled directly into emergency surgery. There, doctors will literally drill a hole into his skull to alleviate the pressure.
The neurosurgeon says he has a pretty good prognosis from the skull fracture. The real concern is that he may develop a seizure disorder. They're going to be bringing him to the operating room to elevate the fracture so that it's no longer compressing the brain. And that in itself will alleviate the possibility of a seizure disorder.
For Oscar's parents, a long night is about to get longer. When the full moon rises over Miami, some celebrate the South Beach way, velvet ropes and techno music. Some celebrate a different way, sand, surf, and drum music. Geraldine Gramage is on her way to the beach after midnight.
There's a bunch of people that get together today. It's a full moon, it's a beautiful night. We just get there and jam, dance, feel free.
Every full moon, hundreds of people hit the sands of Miami Beach to claim the night, lighting bonfires and banging drums.
I had a really, really stressful week. I'm studying to become a massage therapist. I had a major test, anatomy test today, which I aced. And I just want to get everything out of the system, heal with some music, meet people.
On this night, Friday the 13th, Geraldine will have plenty of people to meet. Drums and fire are common elements of the full moon party. Technically, the beach is closed after 10 p.m. But police officers stand by at a distance, quietly tolerating a situation that, in 6 years of large crowds, has never produced a serious incident. The full moon party was started by a local artist and some friends who wanted something a little more spiritual than the usual South Beach supermodel scene. Within the crowd, Geraldine has found her place. A table and a willing body on whom to practice the massage therapy lessons she's learned at school.
I feel so good.
For the better part of a decade, Big Ben Newmark's been a fixture here on South Beach, except for the brief time 2 years ago when he left to sell real estate. He sold a lot of property, but says he's sold out, too.
Woke up one day and I said, you know what, it doesn't matter how much money I make. If I'm not doing what makes me happy, I don't want to work in the daytime. I don't want to work in the corporate world where everyone wears a tie.
Put this arm like that, on that side of me.
I'm an artist, but I'm also a craftsman or a tradesman. I need to create something. and to do something that I feel good about doing. If you're a tattoo artist, pretty much you eat, sleep, breathe, everything you do is tattoo.
It's not rare, my own.
Yeah, the inside, a little bit more. We're not going all the way around on this, so it's not going to be too bad. The inside of the bicep will be a little more sensitive.
In 10 years, Ben estimates he's created more than 50,000 tattoos.
American traditional style tattoos is what I do. That's what I do best. That's what I specialize in. I try to build a tattoo instead of drawing a tattoo. It's a very technical process. However, if you don't have any artistic ability, you're not going to be able to do it because you're duplicating a piece of art. When you do a tattoo, you have to be thinking about 20 different things. You have to be thinking about the skin, what the tattoo machine is doing to the skin, how the needles are connecting to the skin, how the ink is working in there, looking at the design, paying attention to how the lines flow, which direction the light source is coming from. Okay, this is what you want to do. Leave on the bandage until you wake up tomorrow. You get up, take it off, throw it in the garbage. Do not put it back on. Get in the shower.
Ben says mistakes do sometimes happen, but when they do, he says they're not his.
I can think back probably any mistakes that I would have made weren't my fault. I put somebody's name spelled wrong on them before. And that actually wasn't my fault because the guy wrote his own name spelled wrong.
Straight ahead, we go inside the OR as a child struggles to survive a hit-and-run accident.
There's no limit to what we'll go to try to make somebody better.
As the night moves on, we learn the secrets of the street from a cop who knows the women who work it.
I have a rapport with the girls out here, you know, and they know I'm fair. I don't bust their chops. I treat them with respect.
And back to the beach party where the new age meets an old moon.
Now I'm going to go into the healing water.
All after midnight.
Introducing a new premium sedan from Hyundai with soft leather, traction control, V6 power, and the freedom of America's best warranty plan. All for less than $24,000. The new Hyundai XG300. Fly first class for the price of coach.
This is the Discovery Channel on now a premiere episode of After Midnight.
Somehow I had to stay alive. I had to keep breathing, even though there was no reason to hope.
If you see only one motion picture this year, see the one that will move you, astonish you, and stay with you forever.
I always knew you were alive. I knew it.
It's time to experience the journey for yourself.
Tomorrow the sun will rise.
Castaway, rated PG-13, now playing.
Is there an insurance company with a 148-year history of proving that your trust is not misplaced? Without question, the St. Paul.
This is the Discovery Channel. Coming up next, devious minds prepare for the sting on Justice Files and later a matter of life and death on the inside with the real LAPD.
Your option for the best price in modern home furnishings is at Options Furniture. High-tech, European, Art Deco. The most exclusive and cutting-edge styles at the best price in town. Financing is available. Visit us at Options Furniture and shop in a relaxed environment. We are located at the Westland Promenade Shopping Center, Okeechobee Road in the Palmetto in Hialeah. Options Furniture, an edge on modern home furnishings.
The hottest football action in town is going on now at Hooters. Come for the game and get your special glass filled with icy cold Miller Lite. Take a bite of one of our incredible football specials. Get the hottest calendar for 2001. The Hooters calendar is on sale now, and I mean it's hot. Plus, register to win tickets to the Super Bowl. Get your giant Miller drafts in the new 2001 Hooters calendar, and you've got a party. It's always more fun to play at Hooters.
Back at the tattoo parlor, business is booming. Since Ben Newmark first started a decade ago, he's seen his clients move beyond the usual suspects of bikers and sailors.
I've wanted to get one for a couple of years, actually. Yeah, just always wanted one. So my brother and I both got them together tonight.
Now, more and more, I tattoo professional people, young professional lawyers, stockbrokers, a lot of women.
First time I came in here a year ago, it was the other one on the side means happiness. This one means to be different.
In fact, 6 out of every 10 of Ben's customers are women.
I tattooed a lady once that was 81 years old, and it was her first tattoo.
Ben got his first tattoo when he was 18, an eagle on his arm.
Still one of my favorites.
But it's hard to tell exactly how many he's gotten since then.
I'd like to say just one, because they start here at my wrist and cover most of my body and end up down here on my, all the way going down to my ankle.
Ben's body represents 200 hours of tattoo work, 35 hours on his back alone.
I think it's one of my greatest personal accomplishments because it's great commitment to get a big tattoo. They're a part of me. They're part of my living body. I don't regret any tattoos that I have. Somebody asked me several times, girls would come in here especially, and they'll say, but what's it going to look like when I'm 70? I'm like, oh, it's going to look like you lived when you were 25. I got a lottery ticket in my pocket right now. I don't care if I won the lottery. I'll still tattoo. Tattooing is in my blood.
Back on prostitution patrol with undercover Sergeant Joe Shalacy. A suspected prostitute agrees to have sex with him at a motel, where the sergeant busts her.
You quoted the price, you got in the car. All I'm going to do is charge you with obstructing. I'm not going to charge you with prostitution. All right? And let me tell you why I'm not going to charge you with the prostitution. You know why? You don't know why? Because you got a nice attitude. I'm going to give you a break. Is that fair? Do you have any ID on you? You don't have any ID on you? What about drugs? You don't have any drugs on you, do you? She's been arrested numerous times. You know, I have a rapport with the girls out here. You know, and they know I'm fair. I don't bust their chops. I treat them with respect. That's your signature? You don't know how to write at all? You don't know how to print? You don't know how to spell your name? You don't write or you don't read? Well, that's okay. Have you thought about, you know, getting into a program? You know what? I'm going to help you out. I'm going to come back and help you out. Okay?
A much more serious scene is unfolding at the trauma center, where 11-year-old Oscar is gamely fighting to survive the hit and run that almost killed him. Doctors begin to operate on Oscar to relieve the pressure in his brain and clean out the wound in his broken elbow. Oscar tolerates the surgery well. His courage in the face of great pain is a source of admiration to the staff. Charge nurse Bud Buzzard.
It's a pretty sad case when you see a kid suffer these kind of debilitating injuries. He's going to have a lot of emotional problems and a lot of medical problems and physical problems that he's going to have to work his way through.
For now, as the night wears on, Oscar's challenge is to survive this surgery, brain surgery, where anything can go wrong.
Seville SDS, the fusion of design and technology. Cadillac.
They say that nothing remains constant except change itself. At New York Life, we see the world a little differently. The values with which we started, financial strength, integrity, and humanity, remain the unshakable foundation of the company today. That we don't see them changing, ever, is why New York Life is the company you keep.
This is the Discovery Channel, on now a premiere episode of After Midnight.
make the driving experience more enjoyable?
We'll rent Jaguars, town cars.
And the Grand Marquis for $49.
Oh, the cars will have leather seats, a CD player.
And aromatherapy candles.
We don't really need aromatherapy candles. Maybe not the candles, but the enjoyable thing is good, you know?
Every Friday at 10:30 Eastern and Pacific, take a peek into Miami's nightlife where anything can happen. Every week, new stories, new people. After Midnight, Fridays at 10:30 Eastern and Pacific on the Discovery Channel. This is the Discovery Channel. Coming up next, devious minds prepare for the sting on Justice Files and later a matter of life and death on the inside with the real LAPD.
Oscar, the hit-and-run victim, tolerates his emergency brain surgery well. He still faces several more surgeries and months of rehabilitation. But because his spirit is so strong, his long-term prognosis is good.
You know, you can't help but feel good about a kid who's like taking it so well at this point, and you know, I'm sure he has a good outlook just because of his positive attitude.
I think the kid's got a really good chance to get back to normal lifestyle and go on to do whatever he was going to do.
For the doctor, a veteran of almost a decade at Jackson, Oscar's case is just the kind that makes working trauma worthwhile. His fulfillment comes from seeing a kid like Oscar live to be able to heal and live a normal life. Where we see hurt, Dr. McKinney sees hope.
Some people have asked me, doesn't it get depressing seeing so much trauma? Every day you get 10 or 20 severely injured patients coming to the trauma center. Interesting enough, it makes you sort of optimistic for a few reasons. First off, you see that there's no limit to what we'll go to try to make somebody better. There's not a time limit, there's not a money limit. When they get better and you see them back a few months later after they've been through rehab, they look just like you and I look, and you think, what a huge difference you've made. This is a person who might have died and lost 30 or 40 or 50 years of life. Now you go on, you'll be with his family, you'll have a great life, and perhaps it was all just because the trauma center was here.
In South Beach, tonight's full moon party draws to an end.
It was incredible. It was a great experience. We did about everything I was planning to do tonight. I'm relaxed. I'm ready to start my weekend. Now I'm going to go into the healing water.
A single flare lights the night and the crowds disperse back into the sleeping city until the next full moon. It's not uncommon to see someone arrested by Sergeant Shalacy leave with a smile. Tonight, a suspected prostitute. A promise from her to appear in court. A promise from him to help.
And I'll come back, and we'll talk about getting you to some kind of program. Fair? And I'm telling you, the reason why I'm treating you this fairly is because you have a nice attitude. You've always had a good attitude. Okay? Me too? All right, thanks a lot. Good luck. Take care. And you have to realize that they're people too. And 99% of these girls have a drug problem. And they don't control the drug controls them. They're people like you and I. Just their circumstances are different. They're controlled by this narcotic, this what they call the devil, and crack cocaine. But most of the time, the people out here, good-hearted people, and as long as you treat them fairly and you treat them like humans, they're going to treat you the same way.
Another evening at the trauma center ends. Tension fades and hope emerges. Hope that justice will prevail against the man accused of killing his own children, and against the driver who fled responsibility after running down a young stranger. That young victim now sleeps with a new lease on life, a life that almost ended and will begin again after midnight. On the next After Midnight, back to the scene of the crime of young Oscar's hit and run.
The driver who hit him wasn't going at a slow speed at all. It was acting at a high rate of speed.
Plus, down by the river, danger and drugs.
Sort of our little Dodge City, we consider it.
And on South Beach, the secrets of the velvet rope.
It's all about looks, and it's all about connections.
Next week on After Midnight. What's it like to be alive while most of the world is asleep? The answer can be found out on the streets, behind closed doors, and in places you never imagined existed. Federal agents are drilling holes, looking in crevices, and checking every compartment of a Haitian freighter. It's a regular ritual to find illegal drugs.
On the river, there's been a lot of violence, a lot of crime here. Sort of our little Dodge City.
The pictures tell the story of an 11-year-old hit-and-run victim doctors thought might never make it. But tonight, a happy ending for a brave boy.
You remember what happened to you?
Yes.
You do remember it?
Yeah.
The secret to scoring in the South Beach scene? Better have what the doorman's looking for.
It's all about looks, and it's all about connections.
All of these stories and more after midnight. Miami. It's steamy, hot, and humid. It's a place where image can be everything. Whether it's the right look to get into a club or the look of having something to hide. And that's the Miami Vice Cop Sergeant Joe Shalacy understands. It's his job to root out those who do have something to hide.
We're the gate to, to major waterways. It's easy to transport drugs into Miami or transport and smuggle people.
It's especially true of the Miami River, which cuts through the heart of the city.
It's a way that drug traffickers can bring in, illegal cargo or take out illegal cargo, whether it be cocaine or whether it be stolen vehicles.
It's the midnight shift at U.S. Customs, and Mike Sinclair, the chief inspector in South Florida, is on the prowl. On board the 200-foot West Wind.
We're here in the Miami River tonight. We're standing on a freighter that came from Haiti. We're here with members of the mobile response team and our contraband team from the Miami Seaport, and we're performing an exam on the freighter.
On any given night, the Miami River is loaded with ships from suspect countries like Haiti that are known to be used by drug smugglers. The Miami River is a notoriously dangerous place where both cops and drug dealers have met their deaths.
It's not the safest place to be. Sort of our little Dodge City, we consider it. On the river, there's been a lot of violence, a lot of crime here. So it's a lot more dangerous for us from, number one, the sense of who could be out here. Number two, the condition of the vessels and what we have to crawl through to find dope.
Members of the mobile response team volunteer for this duty, the dirtiest, grimiest, and nastiest assignment in U.S. Customs. Their watchful eyes earned them the title of the #1 narcotics team in the country, uncovering millions of dollars of dope every year.
The first thing we do when we come on a vessel is pop all these hatches that you see here, get our pneumatic tools, and start popping tanks. Fuel tanks and water tanks are very, very popular to hide dope. They'll submerge canisters of dope in these tanks. If you don't pump them, you can't find out what's under the water. And it's not clean water. They don't clean these tanks for years and years. Rust, gook, junk builds up on them.
Several hours of pumping and searching the ship's tanks, and no drugs yet. But the night is young as the inspectors hit on something suspicious inside this freighter. One month ago, 11-year-old Oscar Salamanca was brought here to Jackson Memorial Hospital. After midnight was there.
We're gonna suction that all out.
How you doing, Oscar? What did he get for his pain? Let's give him a milligram of morphine. Let's give him a milligram of morphine. His injuries are adding up. He's got enough injuries now that it's really starting to add up. We're going to put you to sleep now in a few minutes.
Trauma nurse Bud Buzzard was on the scene.
He's going to have some problems. I mean, he's going to need a bunch of surgeries, be in the hospital for a while.
Oscar had been badly injured by a hit-and-run driver as he walked home from the store with groceries for his mom. A fractured skull, arm, and leg, and a jaw broken in 2 places. Now, 1 month later, Oscar is leaving the hospital. He's still missing the front 4 teeth he lost in the accident. His body is still healing. He's going home in a body cast, but still, he's going home.
Oscar, how you feeling?
Good.
You excited about going home?
Yes.
How you feel?
Oh, good. Little nervous.
A little nervous?
Yeah.
What are you nervous about?
How they're gonna put me in the ambulance.
The little boy who wants to be an archaeologist says he misses school and mom's home cooking. Arroz con pollo and black beans.
You remember what happened to you?
Yes.
You do remember it?
Yeah.
What do you remember about it?
Crossing the street, I heard a sound, the strange sound from like when cars move very fast, and I blacked out.
You remember coming to the hospital?
No, the only part they put me asleep. By the time the helicopter ride was over, they took me by helicopter. I was asleep, and that's all I could remember.
Now Oscar is looking to the future and finally going home. South Beach is in full swing, inside the velvet rope at Club 320. Outside, the most powerful people in South Beach, the men who work the door, where compliments are currency and beauty is the price of entry.
Good. You look beautiful as usual.
You look beautiful. Look at you. Let's go. Hey, you look beautiful too, huh?
Yeah, look at you, look at you, look at you.
Hey, baby.
Marco is the VIP host, a veteran of 20 years of clubs in Europe, New York, LA, and Miami. Cedric is French, a doorman on South Beach for the past 6 years. To get past them, you need to know the rules.
Party of five.
Yeah, it's too casual, no jeans inside.
What?
It's too casual, no jeans.
Susie Buckley covers the gossip beat for Ocean Drive magazine.
It's all about looks, and it's all about connections. You can be a millionaire, but be too old and too fat, and you will not get past the ropes.
You know how many times I have people with $100 bills, $200? I don't let them in. They don't look right. There can be problems, you know what I mean? So we prefer just to keep them out.
If the owner of a club knows what he's doing, he's going to hire a doorman that has done it before and that people know and that already has experience in South Beach. So you're not going to hire somebody brand new to be a doorman, because if you do, then he's not going to notice who the locals are.
Some people will do anything to get inside these clubs. The doormen have been offered everything from sex to drugs. 1,000 different stories. On the South Beach scene, almost everybody has a story.
He's the stylist for the show tonight. We're not really like.
Have a good night.
I don't. He put my name on the list.
You're by yourself?
I'm actually, it's me plus 3.
You don't have to show nothing. Just be yourself, just the way you are, and then we take it from there. If you look right, then you're clean, and you think it's no problem, you're in. If it's not, you're out. That's it. It's a tough job. It's not easy.
It's not just looks that count in the South Beach clubs. Youth goes a long way, too.
Girls who are in their 20s don't want to go to a nightclub and see a bunch of 55-year-old fat men smoking cigars. That's not that fun.
As the night moves on, an 11-year-old hit-and-run victim continues on the road to recovery.
A few months later, after they've been through rehab, they look just like you and I look, and you think, oh, what a huge difference you've made.
Then we'll meet a federal agent on the hunt for contraband disguised as cargo.
Hey, this is the chain locker here, common place for dope.
And high fashion meets the high life on South Beach.
You enjoy the party here? You got the best table. You got the best table.
All this after midnight.
A lost and ancient city where ruins tell a tale of disaster. Does ancient Egypt hold the key to the mystery behind today's earthquake-ridden cities? Ancient Earthquakes Sunken Cities, premiering Monday at 9 Eastern and Pacific on the Discovery Channel. the Discovery Channel. On now, a premiere episode, After Midnight.
Announcing Singular, the wireless company that believes in the value of self-expression.
Let's make the driving experience more enjoyable.
We'll rent Jaguars, town cars.
And the Grand Marquis for $49.
Oh, the cars will have leather seats, a CD player.
And aromatherapy candles.
We don't really need aromatherapy candles. Maybe not the candles, but the enjoyable thing is good, you know?
Every Friday at 10:30 Eastern and Pacific, Miami nightlife heats up. Open the door to where nothing is what it seems and anything can happen.
It gets very interesting after midnight.
Every Friday, new stories and new people let you into their lives after hours.
We're going to hit living room and see if Dennis Rodman is there.
Miami After Midnight. Fridays at 10:30 Eastern and Pacific, only on the Discovery Channel.
Hit-and-run victim Oscar Salamanca is ready to leave the hospital. He is one of the lucky ones. 57 others have died from hit-and-runs on the streets of Miami this year.
If I had to analyze it or take a wild guess at it, most of your hit and runs are committed by people that panic. You know, they've just hit somebody, they're horrified, they're scared, they're afraid they're going to go to jail.
Anthony Hershey remembers what happened to Oscar. He's a crime scene technician for the North Miami Beach Police. It was his job to photograph the accident scene after the driver was caught.
That's where this watermark is in the ground. This was where it actually happened. This is the mark where fire rescue washed the blood away from the ground.
His photographs help police piece together what happened to Oscar on that Friday the 13th. The skid marks.
Starts back here, the skid marks, works its way up into the middle of the intersection to right about, say close to about 100 feet. And it ends here, the skid marks.
The blood.
We can still see the tire marks that were left by the blood, where the tires rolled through the pool of blood.
Oscar's clothing.
The clothes were left on the side of the road by fire rescue. And there were several pieces of cracked bumper left on the scene also, which we collected.
That led police to the car and the driver within hours of the accident. All tell the story of a boy who defied those Friday the 13th odds.
He was thrown about 20, 30 feet. Through the damage to the skull area, it shows that the driver who hit him wasn't going at a slow speed at all. It was actually at a high rate of speed. That didn't yield, because that large of an injury wouldn't be caused by somebody who comes to a braking halt and just touching a kid, knocking him down.
Meanwhile, out on the river, Customs continues the search for drugs on board a Haitian freighter.
We've got a space in the bilge tanks that's unaccounted for. In other words, the wall of this tank ends right about here, and the wall of that tank over there ends 2 feet short. So there's a space in there.
An inspector bores into the ship's deck and sends down a simple probe.
A lot of probing in customs work.
But this one comes out clean. Agent Sinclair's team heads for the engine room next. The hunt is not over.
It's a popular area for smuggling, so we spend a lot of time airing it out.
It's loud, hot, smelly, and a perfect place to hide dope. The tight quarters make it a smuggler's paradise and an inspector's nightmare.
This is build. It's a buildup of oil and gas and water and junk.
The crew crew is forced to stand by while customs scours the ship. Drugs are often found on these ships, but crew members are rarely arrested. That's because they're often unwitting pawns in the drug kingpin's game. The night wears on, and so does the search.
It's got a big kitchen. If you look, it's all wood cabinets, wood walls. You know, you can manipulate wood very easy. Hammer and saw and nails. This is the chain locker here, common place for dope. A lot of times we'll have them drop their anchor so all the chain goes out and we can see if there's anything under the chain.
Both the kitchen and the chain locker come up clean. 7 hours after beginning the search, the team is ready to call it quits here.
Hey, we're heading down to the port, do some container ships. Okay. If you guys see anything all going on the river or anything, give me a yell. All right. We'll come up and check you guys out. Okay.
Mike Sinclair is a 20-year veteran as a U.S. Customs inspector. He's a homegrown boy. Growing up here in Miami, Sinclair knows the effect of drugs on his community and his family.
Well, I have a nephew who spent considerable amount of time in and out of incarceration because of a crack habit. I mean, I've just been anti-drug all my life. I don't know why. Some people are, some people aren't. And it's just something that doesn't appeal to me. And especially coke, you know, marijuana I have mixed feelings on, and a lot of people do, but the coke, it's hard to have mixed feelings on that when you see the damage it does, particularly on the street when it's in crack form.
Sinclair still fights the war on drugs in the trenches. He's worked the airport, the river, and the seaport, where inspectors pour through hundreds, if not thousands, of cargo containers nightly. These inspectors are examining containers that came in earlier tonight from Panama and Chile. Sinclair says it's not unusual to find lots of dope inside.
We found over 50,000 pounds of coke in 1 year, 25,000, 34,000, all in the containerized cargo. A little bit different contrast from what we're seeing on the Haitian freighter side, a little bit different contrast from small vessels bringing it in and go fast and whatnot. It's tough work. It's the Haitian freighter work is tough. This is just as tough. It's maybe not as dirty, but it is just as physical.
Hundreds of containers are coming off this ship tonight, and this customs team will check as many as possible.
Anything that you're fine with your back, scratch.
When After Midnight returns, the search continues for drugs in every nook and cranny of the Port of Miami.
It looks like they shaved it down on one side to put the numbers up here and we stamped it.
And on South Beach, getting in with the in crowd. All this After Midnight.
Heads up, Disneyland. We have a new neighbor.
The world ends in the game.
Not from this coordinate, Miss White. They're from California. Ooh, nice limo.
Is there a prince inside?
Sorry, girls, but any interest in a 100-foot grizzly bear?
Introducing Disney's California Adventure, a whole new theme park filled with Disney adventures and fun, right next door to Disneyland.
Let's go see them. Easy, big guy. Nobody likes a nosy neighbor.
Call now to book your vacation at Disney's California Adventure.
This is the Discovery Channel. On now, a premiere episode, After Midnight.
I'm ready. Ready as anybody can be. I'm ready. Ready as anybody can be. Yeah.
Are you ready to ask your doctor about Viagra? Get ready. Ask your doctor if a free sample of Viagra is right for you.
Well, I'm ready for you. I hope you're ready for me.
Every Friday, beginning at 10 Eastern and Pacific, dig into the lives of those who call this home. From selling the dream to dreaming big. Every Friday, a new cast of characters, one story at a time. Then, Miami nightlife heats up, and anything can happen. Every Friday, new people let you into their lives after midnight. Casino Diaries and After Midnight. Every Friday, beginning at 10 Eastern and Pacific on the Discovery Channel. It's here.
Did you know that the Rooms To Go Hialeah Discount Outlet is open every day? That means every day you can buy Rooms To Go furniture at cost, near cost, even below cost. Fashionable Rooms To Go furniture at incredible savings. Shop Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 9 p.m., Saturday 10 to 9, and Sunday 11 to 6. Save big on hundreds of clearance items, overstocks, floor samples, closeouts, unclaimed orders, discontinued, and one-of-a-kind pieces with new shipments arriving daily. The Rooms To Go Hialeah Discount Outlet, Palm Springs Mile, 103rd Street exit, Palmetto Expressway.
Your option for the best price in modern home furnishings is at Options Furniture. High-tech, European, Art Deco. The most exclusive and cutting-edge styles at the best price in town. Financing is available. Visit us at Options Furniture and shop in a relaxed environment. We are located at the Westland Promenade Shopping Center, Okeechobee Road in the Palmetto in Hialeah. Options Furniture, an edge on modern home furnishings.
It's steamy and sizzling at Club 320 on South Beach tonight. Hundreds of beautiful people dance the night away. And not a celebrity in sight, according to Ocean Drive gossip maven Susie Buckley.
Because we think we're celebrities. It's a very ego-driven town in Miami Beach. We come here to be big fish in a small town.
Hiding. You okay?
And while you may not know their names, the men who guard the velvet ropes of South Beach do.
What a body you got.
It's better to have an accent. Spanish is good. French is probably better. It's more exotic. People here, they want to be famous. They want to be known. They like the recognition. And you can be a big fish in a small pond here pretty easily. So everyone has big egos. It's a very ego-driven city.
Back at the Port of Miami, customs agents continue their search for drugs.
Someone's definitely in there. Boxes were crushed, gloves were thrown around, opened up, and I got the seal too. But then again, that would involve, it looked like they shaved it down on one side and took the numbers off. They never re-stamped it.
This containerized searching is the volume game. I mean, a big vessel can have 5,000 containers. So it is the volume game, because once you decide what container you're going to do, then you have to deal with the volume that's in the container.
Sometimes these containers are neatly packed, but often they're not.
Weird.
This one is full of wood, plants, furniture, and personal effects.
You want to send this to the X-ray?
Suddenly, customs inspectors spot something suspicious.
Reason why.
This one with the box of...
Yeah, we peeked through all these boxes. They're very similar. Way in the back, this thing was buried. It appears to be some piece of furniture of some kind.
A search of the boxes comes up empty, and the cargo is put back together. But the hunt continues. Inspector Mike Sinclair says this search may look random, but it's not.
We're trying to be as selective as possible. We decide what ship we're going to work based on where it came from, previous history, what kind of cargo it's carrying, have we had any problems with it in the past. And then once we decide what ship we're going to do, every container on that ship that comes off in Miami will be at least opened and some sort of exam done on it tonight, immediately. It has to be done immediately because a lot of the smuggling at this port traditionally over the years has been done by inside job. Somebody on the inside that has a legitimate reason to be here working uses that position to facilitate the movement of the dope. They basically, in layman's terms, get to the container, get to the dope before customs has an opportunity to examine it. So we basically have to beat them to the punch. We can't let these containers lay overnight in this yard and hope that the dope's going to be there in the morning.
Several hours of searching, opening container after container. The team isn't done yet.
You're more likely not to find dope than you are to find dope. I mean, a good year for the Miami Seaport may be anywhere from 25 to 30 seizures, and we're out here 360 days a year or whatever. If we find dope every 20th time we're out here, that's almost a success.
Seville SDS. The fusion of design and technology. Cadillac.
Hold on. Meet my new friend Simon.
Digital camera. Could have bought it online for $369, $349, or $329.
$329? Where?
Log on to My Simon and compare the best prices from around the web. Hey, cashmere sweater, $188. I know a place that sells it for $98.
You're kidding.
MySimon.com. People have a right to know. Hey, flea collar, $4.99.
This is the Discovery Channel. On now, a premiere episode after midnight.
The Ranger is a great pickup. Yeah, it's only $19.99 at budget.com.
With unlimited mileage.
How can we tell everyone about that great price?
We'll do a commercial.
No. A movie. Nice.
Le Ranger est un truck avec un énorme plateau arrière qui ferme à clé.
Et c'est seulement $19,99.
Oui, je sais.
Hey, we don't need to do a movie. Yeah.
But the website's good.
Yeah.
Just look at right on our website. Get it done on the website.
This is the Discovery Channel. Coming up next, it's a matter of love and death on Justice Files. And later, you're going on the inside of the world's largest mall.
It's a packed crowd inside Club 320. It's a special event, an invitation-only fashion show for designer Wilkie Rodriguez. Whether it's on stage or off, the board model look is always something to strive for on South Beach.
The board model look is something that you try to achieve on a Friday or a Saturday. You can also utilize that look during the week as well. So if you just throw on a very casual outfit that's well put together but not too fancy, then it looks like another night in South Beach. No big deal.
No A-list celebrities inside tonight. No household names. But still, a line full of hopefuls outside the velvet rope.
The guy with the yellow shirt? Yeah, he doesn't have any ID. You can't get him. Yeah, he needs an ID. There's no way. Yeah. Silvana, can you check the guest list, please?
You have a table, you sure?
Yes. It might be 12 o'clock.
Marion?
No Dennis Rodmans or Madonnas inside this club tonight. But to the beautiful people of South Beach, it wouldn't matter anyway.
Just because Madonna's at the club, whatever, we're at the club. We're the famous people.
Back at the port, the customs team continues its meticulous search. That's because the effort can pay huge dividends. Busts like this one. More than 1,000 pounds of marijuana and 73 pounds of hashish oil hidden inside a container of bottled water.
It all adds up at the end. When you look at the end of the year and you have 8,000 pounds of coke on the table, that's a lot of coke. You had to have disrupted something, and that's the idea. Disrupt, displace, drive them to another spot, and then deal with that spot until you eventually get to where you want to be.
Back at the hospital, it is finally time for Oscar to be discharged. Exactly 1 month after the hit and run that put him there. But this story is a success story. It doesn't make the newspapers, no media circus, just a thankful mother and son going home.
This is a person who might have died and lost 30 or 40 or 50 years of life. Now you go on, you'll be with his family, you'll have a great life. And when they get better and you see them back a few months later after they've been through rehab, they look just like you and I look, and you think, oh, what a huge difference you've made.
Good time to drop him. All right. In you go.
The start of a new day in Miami, and the start of a new life for Oscar. Several weekends. The people and places are real. So are their stories. What's it like to be alive while most of the world is asleep? The answer can be found out on the streets, behind closed doors, and in places you never imagined existed. A 17-year-old football player collapses for no apparent reason during a game. He remains unconscious, and trauma surgeons try to figure out why.
He's awake, but he doesn't follow commands. It's a touch-and-go thing.
He works the most dangerous beat in Miami. The guy you depend on to get the bad guys off the street. Only this police officer is just as likely to feed you.
You hungry? You want a protein bar? There you go. Enjoy it.
That's the first officer I've ever seen give anybody anything other than a hard time.
It's a dirty, smelly job, cleaning 1,000 fish a week. But somebody's got to do it. Fishtails from the graveyard shift.
So I'm just taking the scales off, and then I'm going to take the insides out of the fish.
All of these stories and more after midnight. Heroes are hard to find. But when you do, they can light the darkness, especially here in Miami, where the night rules, and the rules are different. He sees people at their most vulnerable and their very worst, sick, injured, in need of repair. Trauma surgeon Dr. Eric Barquist is running Florida's busiest trauma center.
My job in the trauma room is to coordinate the activity of the resuscitation team, to oversee each of the team members' activities, and to make sure that things are done correctly and in the correct order. The hours are challenging, a lot of nighttime work, because that's when trauma happens. Someone has to be here to take care of those patients that are injured at night, but it's very rewarding. The operations are complex, but the rewards are immediate.
An American ritual, Friday night high school football. The stands are packed, the fans are cheering. And on the field, teenagers are doing battle. Suddenly, one boy comes off the field and collapses for no apparent reason.
Hey, Connor! If there is a doctor in the stadium at this point, please come to the home sidelines.
17-year-old Jeremy Cox is unconscious. A rescue helicopter is dispatched to the scene.
Excuse me. Could you all please bow your heads and close your eyes? That would be greatly appreciated. Do we have silence?
The trauma unit at Miami's Jackson Memorial Hospital prepares to receive Jeremy. His injury is still a mystery.
And then we just left. Right, and then the other thing that he said is that prior to the game, he didn't like the stance that he had in his eyes. He said his eyes had gotten very small, and it was like he wasn't looking at him. He was literally looking through him, and he was really concerned about that.
As it turns out, Jeremy had suffered a concussion just a few weeks earlier.
But he never did go to the doctor for that injury that he had. He said he had a headache for like 3 days.
Now, he lies in a coma, unresponsive and in critical condition.
He's got a number of severe injuries.
Dr. Mark McKinney is the attending physician in charge.
He had a bleed into his brain. The neurosurgeon that's taking care of him is operating on him right now. And he also had some internal bleeding in his abdomen.
A Friday night football game ends with a young boy who may never wake up.
He's critical. He had a very bad injury. He was in a coma when he came in. Very, very concerning.
On the streets of Miami, police officer Jim Saya is on patrol.
I patrol the downtown area, and there is some drug activity, some shootings, domestic violence, robberies, burglaries.
Most people can't wait to escape downtown after dark, but Jim Saya relishes Miami after midnight.
After midnight, you definitely see a lot more drunks. As far as crime is concerned, yeah, the bad guys definitely do come out at night.
Jim's been a police officer for 12 years, and at this very moment, he's headed on a potentially dangerous call. All he knows is that a man with an outstanding bench warrant wants to turn himself in.
I don't know what the warrant is issued for, but we're going to find out in just a couple seconds here.
The warrant could be for murder, or it could be for a misdemeanor. Jim has to be prepared for either. When After Midnight returns, doctors fight for a young football player's life.
He's not really awake enough and doing the things that they want him to do to know that he's getting better right now.
And on the high seas, police keep boaters honest.
You know, it doesn't matter whether you're in a little personal watercraft, a jet ski, or a 100-foot yacht. If you're breaking the law, we're going to stop them.
All After Midnight.
This March, it's bigger than your imagination. A lost world comes to life. Enter the Land of the Mammoth. Coming this March on the Discovery Channel.
It may be because it's only 1 inch thin, or weighs just 5.3 pounds. It may be because it has a 15.2-inch screen, or is supercomputer fast. It may be because it's made out of titanium. But, you know, whatever it is, geez, you're just going to so want one. The incredibly thin, ultralight, mega-wide screen, titanium portable supercomputer.
You're watching Miami After Dark on After Midnight on the Discovery Channel.
What if our chief executive had to run the country all by himself?
We're still awaiting
No speechwriters, no cabinet, all by his lonesome. So why are you trying to manage your finances the same way? With Merrill Lynch Unlimited Advantage, your personal financial consultant becomes your chief of staff to help you plan, invest, and bank, all for a simple fee. A simple fee, a simpler life. Who couldn't benefit from that?
Help! A little help, please! Help! A little help, please!
Thank you. Can you get that?
City by the sea, it takes hard work to maintain order in the streets, and law enforcement works just as hard to guard the water that surrounds the city.
Our main goal, our mission, is boating safety and conservation, but around that is a whole host of other items.
Officer Leo Eisenbert works for the Florida Fish and Wildlife Commission.
We have manatee enforcement zones, BUI, search and rescue, boating accidents. We do a lot of boating accidents. Pretty much a little bit of everything.
Florida has over 8,000 miles of coastline, 12,000 miles of rivers, and more than 3 million acres of lakes. Fish and wildlife officers like Lenny Sahlberg keep an eye on every drop.
You know, it doesn't matter whether you're in a little personal watercraft, a jet ski, or a 100-foot yacht. If you're breaking the law, we're going to stop them.
Tonight, officers patrolling the waters off the coast of Miami spot something suspicious. They move right in. A man wants to turn himself in on an outstanding warrant. Miami police officer Jim Saya isn't sure why. He approaches the man cautiously.
So how do you know you have a bench warrant? Okay, well, we're going to verify that. 4426.
426, QSK.
I just need to verify a bench warrant. I've got a subject who told me he's got a bench warrant. He wants to turn himself in. His last name is West.
00.
Jim's demeanor changes when he believes the man is not dangerous. Jim extends his usual olive branch, a health food bar.
That's good nutrition for you, man. It's like a chocolate steak. All right, come on. This officer here he's going to transport you to the jail, and then you guys can clear it up over there, all right?
It's not the last health food bar Jim will give out tonight.
Right now we're approaching Miami Avenue and 11th Street. A lot of homeless in this area. Come here, man. You want a protein bar? Enjoy yourself, man. It's nice and healthy for you. Let me give some to your friends. Hey, how about a lean body protein bar? Come on, it's good for your health. I started giving out these lean body protein bars because I eat them myself. And if I have these bars and I see some of the homeless asking passerbys for money or food, just as I give them to my friends, I started giving them these lean body protein bars. If I had just regular food in my car, if I see somebody that needs it, I'm just going to give them some, just share it as if I would share with a friend.
That's the first officer I've ever seen give anybody anything other than a hard time.
Come here, little girl. Here you go. It's high protein with chocolate. There you go. Breaks my heart when I see a kid that's in a family that they can't even make any money where they can put food on the table. So I see this, and then I'm grateful for the position that I'm in.
Back at the hospital, Jeremy Cox, the 17-year-old comatose football player, undergoes emergency surgery. The goal, to relieve the pressure caused by bleeding in his brain.
He's awake, but he doesn't follow commands.
Bud Buzzard is the nurse in charge.
He's not really awake enough and doing the things that they want him to do to know that he's getting better right now. With head injuries like this, they'll bring some people from the operating room and they'll be awake right away as soon as they've evacuated the blood. And other people will take days, sometimes even weeks before they progress to the point where they wake up.
But here at the Trauma Center, hope never dies. Dr. Mark McKenney.
I've just seen it time and time again where we get somebody who looks like they're really, really ill, and they are. But because we have so many specialists on call and such a great team, everything can get done right away, and we can get a good outcome.
The question tonight is, will Jeremy ever wake up?
They're going to be watching him minute by minute, hour by hour. It's a touch-and-go thing.
Next, on After Midnight, a young man's father waits and waits.
When you saw him, you normally saw me. We were always together, and I just miss him.
Plus, Studio 54 lives on for a night in South Beach. All After Midnight.
The innovative new Motorola Timeport. Access to vital information on the internet, wherever you are.
Sure, she gets credit for turning a frog into a prince, but great hair really starts right here. If you got flakes, the best haircut in the world ain't gonna help. But a great shampoo will, and that's Head & Shoulders. Dermatologists will tell you the same thing. Turns out they not only recommend it, they use it. More than any other dandruff shampoo. Looks like gray minds really do think alike, even if they don't always get the credit for it.
The #1 dermatologist recommended dandruff shampoo, Head & Shoulders.
Knowledge is critical in managing risk? Without question, the St. Paul.
Every Friday at 10:30 Eastern and Pacific, Miami nightlife heats up. Open the door to where nothing is what it seems and anything can happen.
It gets very interesting after midnight.
Every Friday, new stories and new people let you into their lives after hours.
We're going to hit living room and see if Dennis Rodman is there.
Miami After Midnight. Fridays at 10:30 Eastern and Pacific, only on the Discovery Channel. It's here.
It's the 2001 Inventory Blowout Sale at Midway Ford and Isuzu. This weekend, over 800 vehicles will be marked down for final sale. Instant credit. Financing as low as 0.9%. New or used, you can save up to 50%. New cars and trucks as low as $149 per month. Buy or lease. The time is now, and the place is Midway Ford and Isuzu, 8155 West Flagler Street.
As soon as we started advertising on cable, it's amazing how our phones started ringing and people started coming in.
We're moving higher.
Since using AT&T cable as an advertising medium, we've probably increased our business trifold.
We're moving higher.
Cable advertising has helped our business by increasing the showroom floor traffic.
We put all our resources into cable, and we can spend our money much more wisely and get the biggest bang for our buck.
We're moving higher.
The night fishing charters are headed back to dock. And it's Jimmy Ingram's job to clean all those fish from his boat, the Hurricane.
You have snappers here, the mangrove snappers right here. That's a yellowtail snapper. This right here is what we call a rockine grouper, also known as a strawberry grouper. Probably one of the best eaten fish out here. Very tender white meat. We just catch a wide assortment of fish, probably 20 different species. On this right here, he's going to take the fish as is, whole. So I'm just taking the scales off the fish, and then I'm going to take the insides out of the fish, the guts and the gills and so on. And then if you want to take it to even further, you can take the heads off and cook the heads and make soup out of the heads. And there's even meat all over the heads, all in the gills, the cheeks, and everywhere on the fish.
6 midnights a week, Jimmy is a master of the fillet.
We're gonna fillet this is a mutton snapper. Right behind the head, you just cut down, find the gill plate, make an even cut the belly open, just tracing the bones out so you get all the meat off the fish. Take it off, you have the full fillet off there. So we're cleaning between me and the captain sometimes, you know, well over 1,000 fish a week.
Back on Biscayne Bay, Fish and Wildlife officers are patrolling when they spot a suspicious boater.
There was a boat inbound, and he was missing the red and green running light on the bow, which is very dangerous because it can be mistaken for a stern light. So it'd be like it would be like putting headlights in the back of your car.
Florida leads the nation in boating fatalities, so officers are always on the lookout to make sure boats are properly equipped.
How's it going, Cap?
How you doing, sir?
All righty.
Apologize about the light.
Oh, you know why we're stopping you then, huh?
Sir.
How long has it been broken?
Actually, I bent it like this morning when I went out.
So you did it this morning?
Sir.
Now you got a registration, we'll make it quick.
One of the officers' jobs is to make sure fishermen don't catch anything illegal.
Any catch on board? Let's see what you got.
Yellow tail.
Go ahead and open up the cooler.
They suspect something is fishy, though, when they find this boater's catch is hidden.
He had those fish in a bucket in a place where you don't normally keep fish. How big you say they were? 13, 14? Yeah, 15. Yeah, 43. He's smaller. And he's even smaller. You know what the size limit is? It's 20. The grouper was undersized. They had to be 20 inches, and his were 15. I'm going to write you a warning for your light. That's the reason why I stopped you to begin with your light. And another warning I'm going to give you is for your fishing license, because you don't have one. That would be a $65 ticket. I'm not going to hit you with that one. I'm just going to write you for the fish, which is the more important violation. It's a conservation issue. We don't get breaks on that. Well, you want to save some for tomorrow and for the future generations, and if you take every juvenile fish you find, there's not going to be anything for the future, and you know, our kids and grandkids.
They call this the American Riviera, South Beach, and tonight we're at the biggest nightclub in town, Level.
Well, we're compared always to Studio 54 because I think a lot of people don't know what Studio 54 was, but they have an idea of what they felt that it was.
Tonight, party planner Maxwell Blandford is preparing a tribute to the infamous New York nightclub of the 70s.
Okay, George, we're doing the countdown.
This 39-year-old is known for throwing the most elaborate parties on South Beach And he works hard at giving others a good time.
We've spent probably 4 months in preparation for this party. We have a whole series of shows through the night. We've broken it up every 15 minutes. I have a show. But in between the 15 minutes, I have performers, acrobats. So I am always doing little things just to take eye candy out into the audience so I never lose their interest. The next set, then...
The go-go set. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
so then that gives us at least 20 minutes.
Remember, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Okay, all the showgirls, let's go. Okay, you girls, get in your place. I need everybody up in the DJ booth to get prepared. I'm going to make my way through the crowd. I'll be up there in about a minute to give everybody the cue. I like the designing. I like the computers. I like to be able to be in the background, even at the most fabulous parties. I don't know where I'm going to be entertaining people when I'm 50, but I do know I will be still entertaining people. I don't ever want to go to sleep at night and go, and I really missed the boat. And I think that I'm 39 and I haven't missed the boat at all.
The Ranger is a great pickup.
Yeah, it's only $19.99 at budget.com.
With unlimited mileage.
How can we tell everyone about that great price?
We'll do a commercial.
No. A movie.
Nice.
Le Ranger est un truck avec un énorme plateau arrière qui ferme à clé.
Et c'est seulement $19,99.
Oui, je sais.
Hey, we don't need to do a movie.
Yeah. But the website's good.
Yeah.
Just look at right on our website. Get the best on the computer list.
Your business depends on inventory that arrives right on time. Too early, it costs you money. Too late, it costs you customers. You can use the internet to make sure your inventory arrives exactly when you need it, and each customer gets their order exactly when they want it. Discover all that's possible on the internet. Cisco Systems, empowering the internet generation.
You're watching Miami After Dark on After Midnight on the Discovery Channel.
To be competitive in music, I depend on the freshest information. Word on the street is this thing is really buzzing. I'm waiting on that press release. When I get back, I want to review the sales figures and get the contract out right away. I don't want to miss out on the opening weekend.
When it comes to his investments, Steve Gottlieb chooses CSFB Direct, so he can keep up with the market through real-time news and quotes, and receive price alerts on all his favorite stocks.
If you want to be in the game, you got to keep your finger on the pulse.
People who know CSFB Direct.
Experience what life's really like behind bars on Justice Files, then go on the inside of the toughest jail in America. Tonight on the Discovery Channel.
Got a couple stamps already.
Back at the marina, Jimmy Ingram is working the night away, scaling, cleaning, and filleting his catch. He's a first mate on one of the many night fishing charters. When you have to clean as many fish as Jimmy does, you have to have the right tool for the right job.
For snapper, you just want a smaller knife. 8-inch knife usually does the trick right there. Bigger knives seem to be an overkill a lot of times.
And when it comes to fresh versus frozen, Jimmy says there is no debate.
Majority of the time, these guys eat them right away. If you freeze the fish, it kind of takes a little bit away from the quality of the meat.
And how does one get rid of that fishy smell?
Just throwing in a lot of bleach.
The smell isn't the only occupational hazard Jimmy has to face.
Hands take a severe beating out here.
No fishtails here about the ones that got away, just dozens of the ones that didn't.
In the bag they go and off to the customer. Thank you, Noah. Have a good night.
Officer Jim Saya's shift is over. This is when he works out at the gym and also goes on a personal kind of street patrol. On or off duty, anything can still happen.
Fear is a tremendous asset. Because fear, you know, it heightens your alertness. I really believe I have a guardian angel.
Jeremy Cox lies in a coma at the trauma center. Back at the Cox household, it is the first of many lonely nights without him. Jeremy's room awaits his return, filled with pictures of his life as a young athlete, artist, and student.
Right, he took all his major courses. He was doing real good. He was a pretty decent young man.
Gerald Cox, Jeremy's father, is a county social worker. He has a daughter and 3 sons.
Oh, man. If all my sons turn out the way he turned out, I'm in good shape. So I love my son. You know, I love him. And that's just the bottom line.
As Jeremy lies in the hospital, the memories come flooding back for his father.
The first time he touched the ball, he ran it 60-something yards for a touchdown.
And now, the memory of the injury that put Jeremy in a coma. The night the air rescue helicopter landed on the 50-yard line.
I mean, everything was happening so fast. They kicked the ball off. He got the ball. Had a pretty decent run. He took a hit. Wasn't any hit out of the ordinary. And then about 5 minutes later, I noticed he wasn't on the field. But they're working on a player that's down on the sideline. And the only thing that I could see on the player was, you know, the colors, and I jumped the fence, and when I got over there, they had a flashlight in his eyes. He wasn't responsive. I'd never seen him unconscious like that. Let me just show you something. Jeremy's been drawing since elementary school, since I guess he was about in the 3rd grade.
Before the coma, it's evident Jeremy is as adept an artist as he is an athlete. His artwork lines the walls of his bedroom.
He's been going to magnet schools for the arts. I think he's real talented. I know he has a future in art. And we're going to look at exploring it because he can't play football. And I say that, and I mean that, you know, he can't take another hit. Here is my boy, somebody I love very much, somebody that I would put my life on the line for. And here he is laying like that with tubes coming all out of his head, out of his mouth, nose, his skull split wide open.
But through it all, an outpouring of support. Jeremy's walls are filled with get-well wishes from classmates, relatives, even strangers.
It's just overwhelming to let you know that people do care these days. Faith is everything. If you don't have faith, then you're lost. You just got to keep it up. And there have been times, and I hate to admit this, that I have cried. I have cried. And I tried not to, but sometimes you just can't hold back the tears.
Now, Mr. Cox is hopeful that his son will soon wake up and come home.
I just miss my boy. To me, he'll always be my first son. And you saw him, you normally saw me. We were always together. I just miss him.
As dawn arrives, it's anybody's guess whether Jeremy will live to see another midnight. But with a father's faith and a young man's will to live, miracles can happen. Next week on After Midnight, Jeremy's teammates hold an emotional halftime tribute for their fallen hero.
We're presenting you with a team picture of Jeremy.
Plus, the touch-and-go drama of a natural childbirth as a mother and midwife are put to the test. And an overnight sensation on South Beach.
We're here 2.5 hours and everything is completely changed.
On the next After Midnight. Weekends. The people and places are real. So are their stories. What's it like to be alive while most of the world is asleep? The answer can be found out on the streets, behind closed doors, and in places you never imagined existed. A mother goes into labor, but the birth is far from routine. After Midnight is there for the dramatic delivery. Things are going bump in the night at one of the hottest clubs in South Beach. Wait till you see this overnight sensation.
3 hours to transform the entire club.
Plus, we'll update the story of a high school football player fighting for his life in a coma as his team pays him a tearful tribute. All this and more after midnight. Miami, the Magic City, a beacon of light for millions from around the world. Here, the night gives birth to many things, to good and evil, to life and death, but most of all, to hope. An American rite of passage, a Friday night high school football game. Only tonight, there's one player who's not out on the field. He is 17-year-old Jeremy Cox, in a coma in a Miami hospital after suffering a head injury in a game just 1 week ago, on Friday the 13th. His father, Gerald, remembers.
I mean, everything was happening so fast. They kicked the ball off. He got the ball. Had a pretty decent run. He took a hit. Wasn't any hit out of the ordinary. And then about 5 minutes later, I noticed he wasn't on the field, but they're working on a player that's down on the sideline. And the only thing that I could see on the player was, you know, the colors, and I jumped the fence. When I got over there, they had a flashlight in his eyes. He wasn't responsive. I'd never seen him unconscious like that.
A beacon in the night in the heart of Little Havana.
It's like a piece of Cuba in Miami, where all the Cubans, they feel like at home.
Versailles is the Cuban restaurant in Miami. When most of the others are closed, things are hopping here. Throughout the day, the restaurant attracts tourists and locals. But late at night, the crowd is predominantly Hispanic, mostly Cuban.
They come to go to the theater, to go to the movies, they come to eat, they come dressed with tuxedos, with the long dresses, the ladies, they come all dressed real nice. A lot of customers, we know them by the name, we know what they eat. And then when they come here, they feel like a little bit like they're at home in Cuba.
Buenas noches, ¿cómo está todo? ¿Está todo bien por aquí? ¿Está bueno el cafecito? ¿Todo está bueno? Bueno, pues que aproveche. Gracias.
I will say, you know, it sounds like and looks like it's you are in Havana. You know, everybody speaks Spanish. Everybody has cafecitos in the cafeteria.
Cafecito is Spanish for a little coffee, but not just any coffee. Cuban coffee is espresso, strong and sweet, rocket fuel for the soul.
You see, coffee, you need to have a special hand to make the coffee. And see the way she blended in.
By Tony's count, Versailles sells about 1,000 cups of coffee a day. Coffee is as much a part of Cuban culture as cigars, and it's not just a morning thing. Here at Versailles, people come for their Cuban coffee around the clock. And cafecitos lead to conversation, whether it's politics or baseball. Cubans love to chat over coffee around the window. La Ventana. Reina Caellas and Lucho Julio are a young married couple from Miami Beach. He's 25, an actor. She's 26, a TV producer. Tonight could be the night they take on new roles as parents.
I don't know what to expect. I don't know what is it, the thing that's gonna make me think I'm going into labor. Because everybody has a different story, and everybody has advice for you, and everybody tells you your stomach is not low enough, your stomach is huge, your stomach is tiny. But some women,
some don't break water.
Some don't break water, some, you know, so it's like I have no idea what to expect, and that has me the most anxious. Not the actual, you know, I'm gonna have a baby and I'm gonna be opened up and this and that. The waiting around makes you go crazy.
Reina is expected to go into labor at any time. She knows the baby is a boy. But for now, they wait.
Every day is the same. I wonder if it's gonna happen today. And I wonder what am I gonna feel when it happens.
When After Midnight returns, Reina goes into labor.
Got some in here to keep the water broken.
Jeremy's father faces a harsh reality, a son who may never wake up again.
We have hope and faith that he will win this battle.
And an overnight makeover for a South Beach club.
Seeing the people come in and just like, they're totally amazed because they were here 2.5 hours ago and everything is completely changed.
All of this after midnight.
Coming March 11th to the Discovery Channel, science brings a lost world back to life. Land of the Mammoth. March 11th on the Discovery Channel. Bigger than your imagination.
What if our chief executive had to run the country all by himself?
We're still awaiting.
No speechwriters, no cabinet, all by his lonesome. So why are you trying to manage your finances the same way? With Merrill Lynch Unlimited Advantage, your personal financial consultant becomes your chief of staff to help you plan, invest, and bank, all for a simple fee. A simple fee, a simpler life. Who couldn't benefit from that?
You've closed on your new home. Everything's perfect.
What?
Okay, not everything.
I got it. Don't worry about it, honey.
You could always add more storage space. Or fix that jammed door jamb.
Honey, you okay? Fine.
After all, new homes have their share of
Who's your hero now?
unexpected surprises. Life's an ongoing project. Ace.
You're watching the Discovery Channel.
Trapped. Spine is broken. Freak blizzard came out of nowhere. Can't see. Hypothermia setting in. Not gonna make it. Tell my wife I love her!
Every Friday at 10:30 Eastern and Pacific, Miami nightlife heats up. Open the door to where nothing is what it seems and anything can happen.
It gets very interesting after midnight.
Every Friday, new stories and new people let you into their lives after hours.
We're gonna hit living room and see if Dennis Rodman is there.
Miami after midnight. Fridays at 10:30 Eastern and Pacific, only on the Discovery Channel.
It's the start of another weekend at the Miami Beach Maternity Center.
Protein shake.
As the midwives begin their preparations, friends help to calm down a nervous Lucho.
What happened? Well, we were in bed, and then suddenly we hear a pah, and the water broke. And I got nervous. I was like a chicken running around the house up there. And Reina was tranquila.
They're foregoing a traditional hospital delivery in favor of a team of licensed midwives.
We beeped the midwife and we told her what was going on, and she said to come here.
The baby's birth here at the maternity center will be a completely natural birth, without medications or painkillers of any kind. One thing seems certain, Reina faces a long night ahead. Back in Little Havana, things are cooking in the kitchen of Miami's most famous Cuban restaurant, Versailles.
Let's prepare now for the second seating. Okay, guys? Okay, tenemos la sopa de pescado aquí.
There are a few specialties of the house no diner should leave without trying.
This is a skirt steak, and that's what we use for the sandwiches.
The favorite at this hour is the Medianoche sandwiches.
Okay, well, how many sandwiches we have for tonight? Yeah, we have these are the Medianoche here. Then we have ham, pork, and cheese. Medianoche, the name means midnight.
You've heard of Southern hospitality? Well, how about Cuban hospitality? An important ingredient in any Cuban restaurant.
¿Cómo va todo bien? Todo bien. Bueno, ¿cómo está todo? Para que se vea un poquito. ¿Todo bien? Okay, muy bien. Is everything all right? Is everything okay? Okay, gracias. Thank you. Sí, te ves muy bien. Encantado de verte, hombre. Muy bien.
Things are not going well for Jeremy Cox's Coral Reef High School Barracudas tonight. They're down 41-0 as Jeremy remains in a coma, fighting for his life. At halftime, his teammates pause to remember.
Jeremy has battled opponents on the field, but October 13th, he began a new battle to recover from the injury that left him in critical condition.
Jeremy's sister Rachel and his dad Gerald struggle to keep their emotions in check.
To know that we are pulling for him. We love Jeremy, and we have hope and faith that he will win this battle.
Everything was just going through my mind. I was so mixed up. It was hard being there. It was just hard being on the field. And just to accept it, it was really hard. But I understand that this is something that they wanted to do. But I was just mixed up with emotion. It's just hard to describe.
As the night moves on, Jeremy's dad gives a cheerful pep talk to his son's team. And a baby has a big surprise for the expectant mother.
Calm time for me. Give me a heart rate on the baby. Give me a heart rate on the baby. Get a blanket on the baby.
All of this after midnight.
Howie, what's a good gift to get for somebody you really care about?
Football tickets.
No. Something you get more use out of.
Season tickets.
Something from the heart.
Luxury suite.
Ah, no!
TracFone Prepaid Wireless from Radio Shack is a great Valentine's Day gift.
Of course, give them TracFone and football tickets.
It's pay-as-you-go, so there's no contract or monthly bill. And after a $30 mail-in rebate from TracFone, a Nokia 252 is just $19.99. Radio Shack.
You're watching Miami After Hours on After Midnight on the Discovery Channel.
Are you ready to ask your doctor about Viagra?
I'm ready. Ready as anybody can be. I'm ready. Ready as anybody can be.
Get ready. Ask your doctor if a free sample of Viagra is right for you.
Well, I'm ready for you. I hope you're ready for me.
Every Friday, beginning at 10 Eastern and Pacific, dig into the lives of those who call this home. From selling the dream to dreaming big. Every Friday, a new cast of characters, one story at a time. Then, Miami nightlife heats up, and anything can happen. Every Friday, new people let you into their lives after midnight. Casino Diaries and After Midnight. Every Friday, beginning at 10 Eastern and Pacific on the Discovery Channel.
It's the 2001 inventory blowout sale at Midway Ford and Isuzu. This weekend, over 800 vehicles will be marked down for final sale. Instant credit. Financing as low as 0.9%. New or used, you can save up to 50%. New cars and trucks as low as $149 per month. Buy or lease. The time is now, and the place is Midway Ford and Isuzu. 8155 West Flagler Street.
Fun idea, Miami High Life.
Miami High Life, the hottest spot to watch the 500-year-old Basque sport.
Mucho Messi!
Mucho. Go. Play well.
Friday is College Night at Miami High Life. Live rock band. Free admission with college ID. Register to win a spring break vacation for 2 to Sandals, including hair courtesy of Air Jamaica.
Learn the language of winning. Yeah! Learn to speak Miami High Life. Bet on the action.
Back at the ball game, Jeremy Cox's father is moved to tears as he rallies his son's team.
Hey, y'all know if he was here what he'd be saying right now. You understand what I'm saying? Y'all ballers. Y'all athletes. You follow what I'm saying? But most of all, y'all good young men. Good young men. You see, you got a future ahead of you. You follow what I'm saying? Don't hold nothing back in life. Put everything into it. Y'all go on out there and play. Go on out there and play. You okay?
It's the glamorous South Beach section of Miami Beach, where the party never stops and the partiers never sleep. Salvation is one of the largest nightclubs in Miami Beach. As the night winds down and the crowd files out, the staff gears up for the next bash. Club Salvation closes its doors at 5 a.m., but once a month it reopens as Bunk for the sole purpose of throwing a breakfast party.
So the club closed, 3 hours to transform the entire club into an entirely different club.
Morning, darling. We're just going to bring everything from downstairs in storage down.
Basically, it takes like 6 hours, but in this case, we have only 3 hours to tear down an entire decor from a major party to another party in 3 hours.
The reasons behind such a dramatic transformation lie in the fickle denizens of the South Beach party scene, a demanding group with a short attention span and a passion for novelty.
If you don't do it, you lose your clientele in a heartbeat because they expect change. They actually change their whole look. People that were here early from 10 o'clock at night till 5 in the morning will go home now, get cleaned up, put on a different pair of clothes, and turn right around and come back again. Just one more panel.
The cleanup crew goes to work first, clearing trash from the dance floor with industrial leaf blowers and sweeping and vacuuming carpets thoroughly. Meanwhile, Mark scrambles to give the nightclub a whole new look.
Earlier today, the club was all done in teal, aqua colors. That's all being torn down. Now we're going back to white. Right now, we're just trying to transform the top of the dance floor, which is such an open ceiling, to a more closed, since we're not using the entire nightclub. We're only using the lower level to try to create a lower ceiling, like a canopy effect.
With less than 3 hours to go, Mark has to work fast and furious to fuel the South Beach machine with the continuous freshness it requires to exist. Back at the maternity center, Reina and Lucho are inside a hot tub where she intends to give birth to their baby.
And as soon as she got in the water, her face was just like, it's complete relief. The pressure of the pressure of gravity was off her because, of course, she's floating, and the water was just amazing.
Okay?
So you don't want me to push?
I don't want you to push. I want the baby to work you, but I don't want you to tighten up either because that means the baby has to work much harder.
Okay.
Okay.
And I was, concentrating on not pushing, but I wanted to push so bad, and I was just, I got to get the baby out.
Unlike hospitals, the birthing center encourages friends and family to attend. The grandparents and a few close friends rally around Reina as she struggles to give birth.
I didn't care that there were people around me. I was just, okay, I'm going to get this baby out.
The next time you have a contraction, I want you to just practice a push.
Reina, whose labor began the night before, is now almost ready.
He acts with it. If I asked you to stop pushing, is that a contraction? Yeah. Legs way back, legs way back, legs way back, legs way back. Okay, now, push with it, see what happens. Push down.
And then, unexpectedly, Reina runs into trouble.
Introducing a new premium sedan from Hyundai with soft leather, traction control, V6 power, and the freedom of America's best warranty plan. All for less than $24,000. The new Hyundai XG300. Fly first class for the price of coach.
1844. Searching for a simpler life, philosopher Henry David Thoreau retreats to the woods of Massachusetts. Of course, Thoreau didn't have a family to support, wasn't in the 39% tax bracket, or concerned with balancing his portfolio. And he didn't have Merrill Lynch Unlimited Advantage, where your personal financial consultant will help you plan, invest, and bank all for a simple fee. A simple fee, a simpler life. Beats sleeping in the woods, doesn't it?
You're watching the Discovery Channel.
From 7 p.m. to 7 a.m., we're paying for bandwidth that we are not using. Why?
Why? We're paying for something we're not using? Why do we accept things the way they are? If we have a problem, other people do too. There's our market.
Why can't we sell the bandwidth to other companies? Make it a commodity, like a pork belly.
Next, Justice Files Young and Deadly. Then uncover the mystery behind plane crashes on Inside a Black Box. Tonight on the Discovery Channel. Coming March 11th to the Discovery Channel. Science brings a lost world back to life. Land of the Mammoth. March 11th on the Discovery Channel. Bigger than your imagination.
Back at the Cox home, Jeremy's empty room awaits his return, should he ever wake up from his coma. Meanwhile, the memories of his childhood come rushing back to Jeremy's father, Gerald.
This is him in the top corner here, right? This is when they did in the Junior Olympics. And he was one of the ones that made it. And he made it because he didn't hold back.
Now, Gerald Cox's hopes and dreams for his son have nothing to do with track or football.
He still does not know that his football days are over. I know. The doctors know. The coaches know. The trainers know. He still does not know. I want him to be a man. And I want him to be the head of his household. And I want him to be a strong man. And the strong man must remain the head of his house. I want him to raise his children properly, you know, so that they will grow up one day and be something, as I am growing him up to be something.
It isn't easy for Gerald Cox to keep hope alive, not as long as his son is still in the hospital. But he believes his faith will see him through.
Whatever you do, yes, my son is in God's hands.
Back at Salvation, Mark Savage is busy transforming the entire club. In just a matter of hours, the old club will be just a memory.
Basically, we're transforming such a wide open area for the front to a smaller, more intimate entrance. Also, this party is starting during the day, and the lobby area is done with specialty lighting, so this is a way to block out the entrance of the sun and to make a smaller entrance so that the decor and the lighting inside can be effective.
Mark works so the customers will be amazed and believe they're in a brand new club. White panels and black lights transform a dark hallway into a bright, clean lobby.
You're gonna hook on the wire right there, right at the edge. Right like this. Hook on your wire. Perfect. They're using a whole different entrance to come in this time, so it's like a completely different party. But sometimes our staff doesn't even know which way to come in. We confuse them a lot.
Dawn is approaching, and there's much left to do. Mark and his crew are quickly running out of time. The doors open soon, ready or not. By then, Mark must be finished with the transformation from Salvation to Bump's morning party.
When we change different things, we don't know the sizes. Stuff things don't fit, lights don't come on, a bulb doesn't work, the plug you thought worked didn't work. Then it gets stressful.
On Sunday mornings, the club takes a more wholesome approach to partying. Smoothies are served instead of alcohol. Fruits and muffins are offered to the crowd. And the decorations reflect this change, from dark and splashy to clean and white.
They sit down, they give me a budget, they give me a theme. A lot of it's lighting. A lot of it changes for lighting, for different looks, for different structures and stuff.
This is definitely the witching hour. Even though he's exhausted, Mark scrambles to finish his creation. The 8 o'clock deadline looms.
You make it work. We've opened the doors with half the lighting up, a quarter of it, I'm still up on a ladder. Like that? Yeah. Okay, that's fine.
And the work lights are dimmed. The bartenders light candles and prepare the fruit for the morning revelers.
Our goal is to make it a completely transition like this. Now you can't even see the original ceiling. None of the lights that are in here are the same. Everything's completely changed. The hours get to be long, but it pays off in the end. Satisfaction in seeing the people come in and just like, they're totally amazed because they were here 2.5 hours ago and everything is completely changed. I'm done. I have one more light to put up. And then? I'm done. For another 3 more hours, then tear it down, put it in a box, and start over again.
The club makeover is complete, and just in time, too. Outside the club in the soft light of a Sunday morning, patient regulars are already making a line, clean and rested, and ready to continue the never-ending party of a South Beach weekend. At the birthing center, Raina's labor is taking a turn for the worst.
Push, baby, push.
The baby's shoulders are stuck, and his mother must be taken out of the tub to deliver.
I was gonna fall and I was still gonna take him out, you know what I mean? And I guess that's when they said, oh, we gotta get her on all fours.
Let's get her out of the tub on the hands and knees. Roll her over on her hands and knees. On her hands and knees. And to your shoulder. You got it? No. Okay, come on, baby, come on. You have no choice, baby. Come on, push, mama, push. Push, mama, push.
Push, Reina, push.
Come on, baby, come on. Come on, baby, push. Reina, push. Push,
Reina, even when you're not having a contraction.
Push, baby, push. Yay, baby.
Oh, what a good boy you came out.
Oxygenate the mom.
Give me the oxygen.
The baby is finally delivered, a boy named Joaquin.
Get her closer.
But there is no cry.
Okay.
The baby is not
Give me a
breathing.
bulb syringe for the baby.
It was just like, I was like slow motion. But slow motion, but you're not there. It was a dream. And in my mind, I was going, oh my God, what's going on?
Count time for me. Give me a heart rate on the baby. Give me a heart rate on the baby. Get a blanket on the baby. Heart rate. Come on, little man. This is not an option. This is not an option. Stay on this baby's heart rate. Okay. Rub this baby up vigorously. Somebody get on this baby and rub it.
Then in my mind, I was going, how about if he dies? What am I going to do if he dies?
Tension fills the room.
Boy,
Almost a full minute has gone by, and the baby is still not breathing on his own.
1 minute, 30 seconds. Okay, we got 1 minute APGAR. We've got one. What's our tone? Do I have breath sounds? That's it. That's right. Spontaneous respirations are established. Cry is there. Welcome to the world. Yeah.
Finally, the midwives succeed. Joaquin is now breathing on his own and beginning his life.
I was waiting for that cry. I was waiting for him to react. I was waiting for anything, and then he started turning pink, and man, it was scary.
And I just saw Lucho, and I saw him, start crying when he started breathing. And I was like, why is he crying? It was just such a weird haze.
Despite the scare, Joaquin seems to be in good health.
His heart rate was perfect. His color was good. Babies who have a stuck shoulder tend to have kind of a purple face because of the fact that while everything's going to their head, not so much can get back out. And that goes away. That burns itself off in just sometimes hours.
Finally, the brand new family comes together for the first time.
It was scary, and there's nothing you can do about it, but you just have to stick to what you went in there to do, and hope that the people that you entrusted to deliver your baby are going to be professional enough to do it, and they did. And, my hat goes off to the midwives. They were awesome.
I think the time where I acknowledged that I went through this, when they put the baby on top of me to keep him warm, that's when I started crying, because I realized, oh my God, I went through it already, And Lucho was next to me crying, and I was like, oh, you forget right away, right? As soon as you see him, and you're like, wow, this is what I did. All this work for this beautiful little kid.
Next week on After Midnight, Reina and Lucho get a crash course in overnight feeding.
Sleep has gotten scarce.
Plus, they call it The Road, Miami Beach's pedestrian mall. Wait till you see the people who make it come to life.
Let's go to the disco.
And we learn the dark side of South Beach's nightclub scene.
He was drinking before.
Next week on After Midnight. Several weekends. The people and places are real. So are their stories. What's it like to be alive while most of the world is asleep? The answer can be found out on the streets, behind closed doors, and in places you never imagined existed. Riding with the rescue crews, they see people at their worst, but when you're hurting, they come to heal.
We can do a lot of the same things that they can do in the emergency room, but we can do them right now as opposed to 5 or 10 minutes from now when they get to the emergency room, and that's critical when someone's having a cardiac arrest.
He came into the trauma unit in a coma, but tonight, this 17-year-old football player comes back from the brink.
Jeremy may be left with some very subtle deficits. As the years go on, they'll probably be able to compensate for those.
They call it the road, but cars aren't allowed. Police patrol on bikes, but pedestrians rule the turf.
There is every type of personality walking this mall.
Disco, baby, disco, let's go to the disco.
All of these stories and more after midnight. After midnight in Miami, and the lure of the night is calling. Here, the night is like a drug to an addict, beckoning, tempting, seducing. Sometimes it takes a miracle to survive the night. But one thing is for sure, after midnight in Miami, miracles do happen. Dr. Jeff Camlett, the ponytailed physician. He and his Harley are a fixture on Miami Beach.
If you like to live life, this is the place to do it. Living in Miami Beach is like living in a foreign country. There's a very European flavor to this city. I've never met a cast of characters like I have in Miami anywhere else in this world.
A native New Yorker, Dr. Camlett prefers the diversity of Miami.
It's Latino flavor, Haitian flavor, Jewish flavor, multi-ethnic flavor. It's a small town city. Everybody knows everybody, but they take care of their own. This is a place where people work very hard, but they also play very hard. But I have a saying I tell to my patients all the time, you know, life is short, have the dessert first. There's no dress rehearsal. This is it.
Dr. Camlett is an addictionologist. He treats people with chemical dependencies, people who can't say no.
Recreational drugs, cocaine, other drugs like ecstasy, ketamine, GHB are very big in South Beach at this time.
The South Beach club scene is notorious for drugs. Paramedics know this better than anyone. You name it, they've seen it.
With all the clubs filled with people, we're going to probably dealing mostly with young people who have overdosed. A lot of the party drugs, GHB, Special K, and ecstasy. Every once in a while they overdo it, and next thing you know, they're calling rescue because someone's passed out in the alley.
A young man collapses in a club. Rescue 1 is on the way.
651 Collins Avenue.
17-year-old Jeremy Cox is out for some fresh air tonight. It's been about a month since Jeremy was injured in a high school football game and fell into a week-long coma.
If there is a doctor in the stadium at this point, please come to the home sideline.
When a rescue helicopter airlifted Jeremy, it was anybody's guess whether he would even live to see another midnight.
He's critical. He's got a number of severe injuries from the football game.
Until they can assess his neuro status, it's a touch-and-go thing.
Tonight, Jeremy is tired. His days are filled with therapy.
I got physical therapy, occupational therapy, and speech therapy, and they all working me hard. All of them.
Do you mind?
Huh?
Do you mind?
Yeah, I do mind. They come in your room and wake you up early in the morning while you sleep.
Jeremy's girlfriend, Sudi, arrives to lift his spirits.
How's it going to feel to have him back?
I know he's going to be like a superstar. Everybody's waiting for him to come back.
I don't think I'll be no superstar.
Yeah, you will.
Oh, I'm too weak to be a superstar right about now, boy. I tell you, I had to learn how to walk, and speech therapy. They had to give me a couple of more words to increase my vocabulary. I learned how to speak again.
1 month after his injury and subsequent brain surgery, Jeremy is still groggy and cross-eyed. He remembers nothing of the night he ended up in the coma.
You remember anything that happened?
Nah, I don't even remember the game. They told me they had tubes coming out my neck and my arms, and they had stuff wrapped around my head because I had to have surgery on my head. They had to cover my head. And I don't remember nothing, none of it. I don't remember none of it.
His vision and memory will improve with time and therapy, though nobody really knows how long it will take. And his football career is over, but Jeremy still misses his teammates.
Oh yeah, I know they miss me. I know they miss me.
You miss the team?
Yeah, I miss the team. I miss the team. I ain't gonna lie, I miss the team.
Now, after all the hard work and all the emotions, Jeremy is just anxious to go home.
I'm supposed to be going home next week on Wednesday. They told me.
Well, it's good to see you looking so good, Jeremy.
I'm glad too. I won't tell you no lie, I'm glad. Very glad.
When After Midnight returns, fire rescue arrives at the scene of a possible drug overdose.
He was drinking before.
Yeah?
Before he got here.
Plus, keeping order on the road, a South Beach mall where cars are banned and people rule.
There is every type of personality walking this mall.
And a crash course in parenting, the overnight feeding.
He started crying, he started ruling the house.
All After Midnight.
This program is brought to you in part by Charles Schwab. When we created a smarter kind of investment firm, we also created a smarter kind of investor.
Hi, I'm Chris Carter. I'd like to talk to you about a problem that can happen in your city, your community, to someone you love. The inability to tell the difference between a bid price and an ask price, a market order and a limit order. But thanks to programs like web shops, Schwab is making a difference. At Schwab branches across America, they'll teach you all about using the world's leading online broker.
Last year, Schwab held over 10,000 web shops. To sign up for one or to attend our other workshops, call 1-800-9-SCHWAB.
Announcing Singular, the wireless company that believes in the value of self-expression.
You're watching Miami After Dark on After Midnight on the Discovery Channel.
Are you ready to ask your doctor about Viagra?
I'm ready. Ready as anybody can be. I'm ready. Ready as anybody can be.
Get ready. Ask your doctor if a free sample of Viagra is right for you.
Well, I'm ready for you. I hope you're ready for me.
I hope the sitter doesn't mind we're a little late. Larry! 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 She's standing.
I'm driving Janet home.
Back on the beach, paramedic Ray Morris and his fire rescue team pulling up on the scene of an apparent overdose.
There's the cop over there. Shining light at you? This guy's here on the front sidewalk. Another cop. We hardly ever find them in the clubs because the club owners don't want anybody not having a good time inside their club. So as soon as somebody starts having a problem, they immediately remove them from the fun area and take them to where nobody can see them. We usually get them in the alleys.
He's not ready.
Okay.
He's feeling sick.
Has he been?
He was drinking before.
got the call as diabetic having some difficulties. That's what his friends probably thought because he's a diabetic and he was laying on the floor. We first walked up on him, we saw the lollipop sticking out of his mouth. And when people take a drug called ecstasy, they want to chew, have this urge to chew on things. A lot of times they'll have lollipops or hard candy or pacifiers or something to chew on. So the first thing we see is a guy with a lollipop in his mouth, and that's what we're thinking. Okay.
Do any drugs tonight? You been drinking?
Jose fades in and out of consciousness as he's rushed to the hospital. They're still not sure what's wrong with him.
Now, okay? Doing everything we can for you.
Try and relax, okay? Yeah, let her get your blood pressure real quick.
Jose's health is complicated by a previous condition, an inflammation in his chest, osteochondritis.
We're en route to your facility with a 21-year-old male who's complaining of chest pain. The patient has a history of osteochondritis and diabetes. He says that the chest pain that he's feeling is related to the osteochondritis in his chest and his rib cage. At the emergency room, they said is muscular pain in the chest, and it's not cardiac related or anything.
His rescuers can only go so far. Now the hospital takes over. No matter what the cause, the first step is treatment.
Go down this side here and come back this way looking for this drunk. We may stop. Okay, they say there's a guy that's a little obnoxious. You know, that's where we're headed.
Miami Beach Police Sergeant Howard Zeifman. He packs a gun and rides a bike. It's his job to patrol the beach's pedestrian-only mall, Lincoln Road.
Where do you say that guy was? In the circle? Okay. Here he comes, right here. Here he is, right here. Walking right by us. He's not doing anything illegal. It's not illegal to walk and be drunk. So he's not causing anybody any harm.
In contrast with the rest of South Beach, Lincoln Road is quiet every night. There are no cars allowed on the road, and the walkway offers visitors a respite from Miami's breakneck pace.
People on Lincoln Road, you know, I think they're very carefree. A lot of tourists. A lot of tourists. This is just a happening place. Take it for a ride.
No.
Take it for a ride. Go ahead, take it for a ride. Take it for a ride.
Do it.
What are you, chicken? It's unique. Anything goes. And it's very calm. It's not like it's rowdy. It's calm. Everything is accepted here. Nobody questions.
I'll be riding the right one. I want to ask you something.
Yeah.
It's the first time that I see a policeman on a bike.
Yeah.
We came from Holland and there's new. May I make a picture?
Sure. Tourists are not afraid to come up to us as police officers and ask us anything. You know, in some cities you'd go to and you're afraid the officers are going to snap your head off. Take care.
Thank you.
And then the bus will take you up Collins Avenue to Aventura Mall. Joffrey's. Yeah, down the street here on the right-hand side. Bicycling is part of community policing, and you've got to be friendly to the public. So we're out here. We like it.
As the night moves on, first-time parents get a late-night lesson in parenting.
Since the day he was born, sleep has gotten scarce.
Plus, meet the colorful characters on Lincoln Road. And we'll show you how Jeremy, the once comatose football player, is working hard to regain his skills.
Any weakness on your side?
I know your hands hurt on me.
All after midnight.
Is there an insurance company that believes the most important thing they cover is the risk you didn't think of? Without question, the St. Paul.
Why? It is a small word, but it is a quick, sharp, and abrupt word. Why? It is the chosen word of the nonconformist, the defiant, and the visionary. is a confrontational word.
Why?
It challenges what's thought to be impossible. If you are not afraid to ask why, you can change whatever it is you want.
Every Friday at 10:30 Eastern and Pacific, Miami nightlife heats up. Open the door to where nothing is what it seems and anything can happen.
It gets very interesting after midnight.
Every Friday, new stories and new people let you into their lives after hours.
We're going to hit living room and see if Dennis Rodman is there.
Miami After Midnight. Fridays at 10:30 Eastern and Pacific, only on the Discovery Channel.
Fun idea, Miami High Life.
Miami High Life, the hottest spot to watch the 500-year-old Basque sport.
Mucho Messi!
Mucho. Go, play well.
Friday is College Night at Miami High Life. Live rock band, free admission with college ID. Register to win a spring break vacation for 2 to Sandals, including hair courtesy of Air Jamaica.
Learn the language of winning. Yeah! Learn to speak Miami High Life. Bet on the action.
Does size really matter?
What kind of a question is that?
Well, it depends.
Hey, the bigger the better.
At Ford of Coral Gables, size is definitely important. And that's why we're having a giant first anniversary celebration. We've got a super-sized inventory. Buy a brand new Escape or an Explorer and save up to $3,900. Or lease one for only $169 a month. Plus, buy with no money down. Don't miss the giant first anniversary celebration at Ford of Coral Gables, located at US 1 and Lejeune Road, where customer satisfaction is job one.
We were almost done, and they were requesting a fourth signal.
Back on patrol with Miami Beach Fire Rescue in the heart of South Beach.
It's over on 1020 Ocean. It might take us a while just to get there. This is a trauma call. It's potential to be bloody.
On a Saturday night in South Beach, anything can happen. Tonight, a partier has apparently fallen from a second-floor balcony.
Unconscious, not breathing. Fell off the second floor. Yeah, they just got there, but they haven't said anything else. They land on that or on the sidewalk?
No, he landed, according to these people, he landed on somebody. It might be a second patient. They supposedly landed on another guy.
You guys need any help? Okay, so you guys don't need us?
This patient is lucky. His injuries are minor. Another crew takes him to the hospital, so it's time for Rescue 1 to move on to another call.
Trauma, Ray Trauma, 449 Miami Beach.
Rescue 1 responding. We got another call over at the police.
This time, Ray Morris and his crew are called to the Miami Beach Police Station.
No other injuries. Okay, Paul, you take it easy, okay? On that call we just went on, there was a gentleman who being taken into custody by the police, and he resisted and took a swing at one of the cops, and tried to get away, so they took him down from behind. When he went down, he hit his face on the sidewalk. Anytime you get this many people in one place, and they're all partying, trying to have a good time, some of them are drinking a little too much, or taking some substances to enhance their enjoyment. You get people that, they get on each other's nerves, and then next thing you know, they're, hey, you looked at my girlfriend, or you scratched my car, you stepped on my foot, there's a push, a shove, and look at this, it can't drive anywhere, the sidewalks are packed, and there's nothing really that special going on, it's just a regular, typical weekend.
Inside a Miami Beach apartment building, the sounds of life. 25-year-old Lucho Giuliao and his 26-year-old wife, Reina, are tackling parenthood for the first time.
Who's gonna have a black?
Their baby boy, Joaquin, was born 3 weeks ago. But as Lucho and Reina are learning, the real work comes now.
Since the day he was born, everything is slowed down, pretty much. Sleep has gotten scarce.
at his little toes.
You're waking up.
Look, he's smiling. He woke up at 2 or something like that, and he started crying, and I want, you know, milk, and I want, you know, he started ruling the house right away. He's the king of the house. Lucho no more.
And then at night, he just wants to be awake because everybody's sleeping. And keep us awake with him, which is cool. Which is only like, it's only between 2 and 7 in the morning. So, you know, that's not all that bad.
Tonight, the new nightly ritual takes place and the family gathers after hours as they prepare for an unexpected separation.
Introducing a new premium sedan from Hyundai with soft leather, traction control, V6 power, and the freedom of America's best warranty plan. All for less than $24,000. The new Hyundai XG300. Fly first class for the price of coach.
You're watching Miami After Dark on After Midnight on the Discovery Channel.
1844. Searching for a simpler life, philosopher Henry David Thoreau retreats to the woods of Massachusetts. Of course, Thoreau didn't have a family to support, wasn't in the 39% tax bracket, or concerned with balancing his portfolio. And he didn't have Merrill Lynch Unlimited Advantage, where your personal financial consultant will help you plan, invest, and bank all for a simple fee. A simple fee, a simpler life. Beats sleeping in the woods, doesn't it?
Enter the land of the mammoth, March 11th on the Discovery Channel.
Girls aren't geeks, they say. Girls are secretaries by day, party animals by night, right? Girls don't stay home to learn C++ and Java on their own. And girls don't click the dice, post their job skills, get 59 calls and emails, 11 interviews, 4 offers, and a fabulous web developer job at 3 times the pay. Girls aren't geeks, they say. To which I say,
Find your next high-tech job on earthwebsdice.com.
Coming up next, investigate the risks from intruders on Justice Files Safe at Home. Then go on the inside of the enforcers inside the DEA. Tonight on the Discovery Channel.
Nearing the end of his shift patrolling Lincoln Road, Sergeant Zeifman reflects on the people who come there.
There is every type of personality walking this mall, from the very, very well-dressed to the people in shorts and sandals or walking barefoot.
Disco, baby, disco, let's go to the disco.
Smoke my cigarette. Let's go. Hallelujah. Let them surrender to the king.
Back home, Lucho is preparing to leave Reina and their baby Joaquin for the first time since he was born 3 weeks ago. Lucho, an actor, has gotten a gig overseas.
Tomorrow, I am going on a trip. I'm going to go film a commercial in Spain, which is going to be very cool. I mean, it comes at the right time because it means more money in the bank for the baby and whatnot. But I got to leave for a week, which is going to be kind of sad because I'm going to miss him for a whole week of his growing up, and he's going to be so different when I come back. I'm so in love with him. I really am. He's I can't elaborate on that. He's the love of my life. I mean, look at him. He's so cute. He's just so cute. And I can't stop giving thanks. I give thanks and praises all the time. All the time. It's like, man, what did I do to deserve this? I'm so happy. I really am.
Before he was born, I was like, I want to go back to work. And I was telling Lucho, like a week after he's born, I'm going to call this guy and I'm going to tell him that I'm not pregnant anymore and I want to work and I want to do this. And now I'm like, he can wait. You know, everybody can wait. But your priorities changed tremendously. Now my priority is him and nothing else. Him and Lucho.
My life has changed so much. And it's not like it's been like this monumental changes either, but it's changed so much because it's become so simple. I love him and I love my wife, and that's it. I work, and when the work is there, great. And I'm not freaking out about bills anymore. I don't care about this or about that. It doesn't matter. This is it right here. This is all that matters to me, him and Reina.
You're so pink and white. Yes. Yes.
As the new day dawns, football player Jeremy Cox is already hard at work, doing his therapy. One reason Jeremy survived his week-long coma is because he was brought to a major trauma center so quickly. Jillian Hotz is the neuropsychologist who treated Jeremy.
We're in the building. It's a 24-hour trauma team on call. There's a team of special trauma doctors, and one of them is a neurosurgeon, orthopedic surgeon, general surgeon, that are on call to come into the operating room within minutes when the patient arrives. How's that? How's that look? You see the skin?
Now, his recovery is going well.
Much better.
That's much better.
Yeah, much better, yeah.
His daily routine consists of hours of therapy like this to help him regain his balance, motor skills, and cognitive skills.
Okay, I'll do is the crossing over.
Aaron Abahassan is Jeremy's physical therapist.
Jeremy's doing excellent. He's made a lot of progress. His balance is almost 100%. And we're expecting from a physical standpoint pretty much full recovery.
Jeremy may be left with some very subtle deficits, but as the years go on, he'll probably be able to compensate and develop strategies for those that I don't foresee any problem for him being admitted to any college. Lay aside?
I know your feelings hurt.
And it's hard work. When he began therapy 2 weeks ago, nurse Lizzie Williams was there to greet him.
My first thing I say is welcome to rehab. The vacation is over with. And think of rehab as going back to work. You wake up in the morning as if you was at home. You wake up by the time clock. Look on the wall and see what time it is. Breakfast starts at 8 o'clock. 9 o'clock you start to work. While he was here, we would provide him with a Cadillac, meaning his source of transportation, a wheelchair.
He's a lucky kid. Yeah. All right, Dad?
Jeremy has an advantage. He's got a good family and a good attitude.
That's half the battle is right there. Your attitude can make all the difference in the world.
Jeremy's a highly motivated kid. He's a bright kid. So this all sort of came into the picture, was very helpful for his recovery. I think Jeremy had a great support system. His parents were very well educated and asked a lot of questions, and it really helped in his recovery.
Still, one thing is certain. Jeremy's football career is over.
Jeremy should not be playing football again. You know, he had a loss of consciousness. He needed neurosurgical intervention, and somebody like Jeremy should not be, you know, playing football ever again.
I know they hurt.
For Jeremy, though, there is time and hope. Time to heal and hope for a healthy future. As the sounds of a new day dawn in Miami, the memories of the night linger. Memories of all kinds of people, of all ages, living their dreams in the world after midnight. Next week on After Midnight, a prayer is answered as Jeremy goes home from the hospital, and After Midnight is there for an emotional homecoming.
Party in my house.
Plus, on the streets with the busiest rescue unit in the U.S. And a touch of the Middle East comes to South Beach. We'll take you there.
It's about action at nighttime.
Next week